All right, thank you. It's 1:45, thank you. So the next thing we're going to do is take a look at calendar. So I'd like for you to go ahead and click on the calendar. And you'll see from your menu option right here at the top, all you have to do is click on calendar. All right. So when you're looking at your calendar, and if you've clicked on your calendar, you'll probably notice that Google automatically has given you the week view. Not a problem, but I trained from the month view. It's just easier. So let's take a look at what we have when we're looking at our calendar. So you have 5 different views. You have the day view, the week view, the month view, the 4-day view, and the agenda view. Any of these views can become your default view. My default view, again, is the month view. The other thing you have when you're working with your calendar are mini calendar, well, your mini calendar, which is pretty neat. So if I wanted to quickly go to May 17th, I would just click, go to May 17th, and watch this. It's going to give me a toggle. The first time I click on May 17th, it gives me the month. The next time I click on May 17th, it gives me the week of the 17th. And then the next time I click, it gives me the day. So you can just click back and forth and toggle back and forth. And when I'm ready to go back to today, I just click on today, and then I click back on the month, and I'm where I started. Now, the next thing I want to do, I want to show you 4 ways to create events. So the first way for you to create an event is to click on the red button that says Create. So the first event we're going to create is a team meeting. All right, so let's go ahead and give this a date, a time. Now the time zone. Your events will always be received in the recipient's correct time zone. So if I sent this event to Stacy, who's in the Pacific time zone, it would appear in her correct time zone. So you don't have to be concerned with time zone. Now, all day, I want you to watch this. I'm going to scroll down a little. Now, right now, Google shows me it's busy, correct? But watch this. If I say this is an all-day event, watch what's going to happen. Did you see what happened? Google automatically shows me as available. So anytime you say you're at an all-day event like this, for some, it's an all-day event, well, Google will say you're not busy. But so what you'll have to do, is to manually select busy like that. All right, now I'm going to deselect all day, and let's take a look at repeat. You're going to have events to repeat. Events can repeat anywhere from daily to yearly. And events can repeat a number of different weeks, as you see. I'm just going to click on Done. Now, let's add guests. Again, we have our type ahead feature, something that we all depend on, and I know I enjoy the type ahead feature. And then the next thing is to add rooms. That's right, you can add rooms, and it will only show rooms that are available. So you don't have to be concerned with someone booking a room that has already been taken. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Conference Room A, and when I click on Add, you'll see where it says where Conference Room A has been added. Then I'm just going to click on Close. Now, guests. There are a couple of things that guests can do. When you're looking at your guests, you have an opportunity to decide if you want to mark someone optional. You see this icon right here? When I click on this icon, it's going to make Nicholas optional. And if I click on the X, it's actually going to remove a person. 3 things guests can do. Guests can modify the event, invite others, and see the guest list. So if I did not allow my guests to invite others, they would not be able to delegate a meeting to someone else. So there's no formal way to delegate a meeting to someone else. So you want to allow guests to invite others. Does that make sense? Good. All right. Excellent. We have a description, and you also can add an attachment. And let me say this about adding attachments. The attachments that you add will be Google Docs. And we're going to talk about Google Docs after we finish up with calendar. So the attachment can be a Google Doc. And so I'm just going to add an attachment. Click on select. And now that attachment is added. Now, I'm going to add another attachment because a lot of times people say, no, you can add more than just Google Docs. You see right here, it says upload. So I'll go ahead and click on upload. And they'll say, see, and then choose files to upload. So I'm going to click right here. And I'm going to, let me go back to my documents. And I'm going to choose a file to upload. So I'm going to upload this Word document. So I'm going to click on open. So it's uploading this Word document. And then I click on upload. And it's uploading. And then when it finishes uploading, you're going to see that what it has done, it indeed uploaded the Word document, but it changed the Word document to a Google Doc. So even though it says upload and it allows you to go to your Windows Explorer to upload documents, the documents that you upload will be converted to Google Docs. Just wanted you to know that. All right? You can give the event a color, which is not something I recommend, and I'll share with you why. You can also add and remove reminders. So you can add up to 5 reminders. And you can also remove reminders. Reminders can be pop-up or email, and you can have reminders minutes, hours, days, or weeks in advance. You can show yourself as available or busy, and we'll talk about busy decline. That's the labs. I'll show you how that works. And your privacy settings. Now, I want you to watch this. So right now, we have this as a repeat event. Because this is a repeating event, above guest can, we do not see suggested times. So watch. When I deselect repeat, we now see suggested times. So I can click right here, and I can see the times that all of my guests, including the room, are available. You see that? But if the event is all day, watch this. If the event is all day, suggested times is not an option. If the event is a repeating event, suggested times is not an option. But that's not a problem. Watch. You see this second tab, find a time. All I have to do is click right here on find a time. When I do that, I get to see the calendars, you see, of all of my guests. Now, don't be alarmed, as some people are, and say, oh my goodness, can anybody invite me to an event and see my calendar? The answer is yes, they can. But they'll only see what you allow them to see. For instance, if all you allow them to see is busy, let me click, I think Lisa, you see that? Lisa only lets me see free and busy. So you decide what you want people to see. So if free busy is all they want you to see, that's all you'll see. So they will see your name and they'll see that you are busy. If you allow them to see more, like Shell lets me see everything, I can see everything. So don't be alarmed. People can only see what you allow them to see. So,
what are the defaults?
Pardon me?
What's the default setting?
I'm going to show you, and we're going to get to that. All right, so now what we have right here is everybody is able to attend this event. So I'm going to click on Save and Send. So I'm going to scroll up, and I'm going to click on Save, and then I'm going to click on Send. Now, I do want to say this, and I demonstrated this with the trainers yesterday. Send invitations. Would you like to send invitations to guests? And you would say yes, and you would click on Send, right? Right. But what if somebody decided they didn't want to click on Send? Do you think you're going to be working with anyone that would click on Don't Send? Oh, yeah, possibly. Yeah, that's why I wanted to talk to you about the workaround. So I'm going to go ahead and send this one. But I want to show you this, and I don't train this in the regular class, but you're Google guys and you need to know everything, well, just about everything. So let me show you this. So let's say this was a kickoff meeting, and I am inviting Sydney, Lisa, and Lynn. All right. Now, when I have an opportunity to click on save, just for some reason, because you know, somebody may just want to test it out. So they may say, don't send. All right, so they didn't send it. So then they'll decide, well, you know what? I think I want to send that event. So they'll go back, here it is. They'll open it up. They'll click on edit. And they will think, well, how do I send it now? There's no send. There's how do I send it? All right, here's the workaround. This is what you can charge for this. So here's the workaround. What you'll have to do is I'm just going to put a period right here in the description. You have to edit it. You have to change something in order for Google to ask you to send it again, all right? And so now I can click on save and send. But if you decide not to send something, I don't know why you would, but people test things out, and then they'll come back to you and say, you know, I was just, you know, trying to see what would happen if I didn't send it, and I wanted to send it later. Now I can't send it. So the only way to resend it is to modify it. You have to change something, all right? Just wanted you to know that. That's not one of those things that you will just pick up. All right, now, the second way to create an event is Quick Add. Watch this. So you click right here on this drop down. You see that? That's not obvious. So you click on the drop down for Quick Add. And if you're following along, you can type this. Dinner with friends, 7 p.m. every other Sunday. All right, you got it? Dinner with friends, 7 p.m. every other Sunday. Just make sure everything's spelled correctly. And then click on Add. You see that? Google automatically placed it on Sunday, 7 p.m. Yeah, that's pretty neat. So that's Quick Add. It's a pretty cool feature. Now, the third way to create an event is just to click inside a date that you want. So let's say we wanted to create an event on Wednesday. So we just click inside of Wednesday and we'll say team meeting on the lawn, 9 a.m. And I'm going to press the enter key, and there you have it. Team meeting on the lawn, 9 a.m. You can also, I'm going to click right here inside the 6. You see what I'm doing? If I click right here, it'll automatically take me to the 6. And I can click and drag. You see what I'm doing? So you can move events up and down. If I decided an hour is not long enough for the team meeting, I click right here, click and drag, and make it longer. Just like that. And everybody will be happy about that. We all like longer meetings, right? All right. And when you change something, you see this? I changed something that has guests associated with it. So when you do that, it says, would you like to notify guests of changes? And you can, of course, you would say yes. Send guests notification that the meeting has changed. All right. Now, another way that you can change an event, watch this. If you're working from the month view, you can click and drag, just like that. And again, it asks, do you want to notify guests of the changes? Another thing that you can do, open the event, click on Edit Event, and we can change this to 1:30. Click on Save, and now it says only this event, following events, or all events. And we could say only this event and let them know. So now you know 3 ways to create events, 3 ways to change events. The next thing I want to do, I'm going to go back to my inbox, and I'm going to show you 2 things from the inbox that pertain to calendar. First is creating an event. So let's take this email message right here about the Holy Land tours. So I'm going to open this email message up. And I want to create a calendar event. And you know I can do this two ways. I can click on More, and I can select Create Event. And what it's going to do, it gives me the subject of the email now becomes the title for the event, Holy Land Tours. It picks up Steve's message and Deborah's message. And if I didn't want to show it, I could go in and I could simply delete under the description, but it also picks up everybody that was part of the conversation. So that's really neat, all right? I'm going to click on Save, and if there are any external guests, it's going to say, hey, do you want to send it to someone outside the organization? Absolutely. And invite external guests, and click on Send. Another way, and you remember this from this morning, that we can invite everyone is with our people widget, right? We just simply click on More, and then we click on Calendar, and it does the same thing. It schedules a meeting for the entire group. So whether you do it from the email, from Create Event, or the people widget, you have the same results. But the people widget doesn't give you any text, so you don't have to delete anything under description. So I'm going to close that out. Now, the next thing I want to do from the inbox view, since we're here, is to look at invitations. So what do invitations look like when they come to you in your inbox? So you'll see the word invitation, and you'll have a calendar icon. So let's go ahead and open up the invitation. So when we open up the invitation, this is what's really neat. You have your agenda. So your agenda for that day is also attached to the calendar event. So you don't have to guess about whether or not you can make an event. Your agenda is also pulled up. The other thing you get to do, you get to answer two different ways. You have two menu options. The first menu option, are you going? Yes, maybe, no. Now watch what happens. If I click maybe right here, it simply says, you have replied maybe. But when I scroll down, if I say maybe from the second option, watch what happens. It actually opens the invitation up in the edit mode. You see that? And from here, I can click right here, and I can add a note or change my response. Now, something you want to keep in mind. If you add a note, that note is visible to everyone, all right? It's not a private note, okay? As you see, I can read what everyone has said, okay? Yeah, I thought you'd like to know that, okay? All right. Another thing that you can do when you're inside of an invitation, you can add a guest. So if you're looking at the list and say, hey, they such and such should be on this list, or I can't make it and they need to go in my behalf, you can always add a guest. You can also email guests. This is another one of my favorite features. You see that? I can email guests in different categories. So I can email everybody that said yes, everybody that I'm waiting an answer to, etc. Even though I'm not the originator of this event. This is Sydney's event, but I still can email all the guests. And when you finish making whatever changes you want to, you just click on Save. Now, the next thing we're going to do is to take a look at your personal calendar. So you can follow along with me. And you see right here where it says My Calendars. Go ahead and click on the drop down right there. Under My Calendars, you see your calendar and task. And this is another calendar that I've created. Click on the drop down next to your name. When you do that, you see all the different things you can do with your calendar. You can display only this calendar, work with calendar settings. You can create an event on the calendar, share the calendar, work with reminders and notifications. As you see, all the calendars are color-coded, so you can give the calendar any color you want. So let's start with sharing this calendar. Now, everybody at Crew, will be able to see free and busy. That's all they'll be able to see. As you see right here, they'll know when you're free, they'll know when you're busy, no more, no less. But if you want someone to see more than free and busy, when the gentleman was asking earlier about what are some of the other options, now we're going to see what those other options are. So I want Lisa, Lynn, and Nicholas to have greater permission to my calendar than just free and busy. So the highest permission you can give anybody is make changes and manage sharing. You see, that's what you have for your own calendar. So I'm going to give Lisa the same rights to my calendar that I have. So Lisa can now make changes and share my calendar. The second highest is make changes to events. So Lynn can make changes to my calendar, but she can't share it with anyone. And then Nicholas has the third, which is see all event details. So Nicholas can see everything that's on my calendar, but he can't add anything to it or take anything away. So these are the 4 permission settings that you have. You can always remove a person, and of course you can increase permission settings and decrease permission settings. But there's no need to give someone free busy because that's what everybody has anyway. So when you finish, you click on save, and that's how you share your calendar. Now the next thing we're going to do, if you would go back to your calendar, let's select reminders and notifications. So how do you want to be reminded about events? Well, there are 2 ways. You've got your pop-ups and your emails, as you remember, and you can be reminded minutes, hours, days, or weeks in advance. And you can choose to remove reminders, add reminders, and these will always be your default settings. So if you decide to add 5 reminders, then that means for every event that you have that you're invited to, you will always receive 5 reminders. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you need, then that's what you need, all right? All right, now, then you want to choose how you'd like to be notified about new events, changed events, canceled events, and event responses. So, of course, when someone sends you a new invitation or they change an invitation or cancel something, you want to receive an email that that event has been changed, canceled, or modified, or new. And then event responses. Now, event responses are optional. If you send invitations a lot, if that's something that you do a lot, you may not always want the yes, the no's, the maybes to come into your inbox. There are a couple of things you can do. You can deselect this. You'll still know the yes, no's, and maybes, but they just will not come into your inbox. So you can deselect this. A lot of admins do that. They don't, especially if they're also supporting their manager's calendar, they don't want all the event responses. So you can deselect event responses, and you'll still know who's attending. Eager Beavers. If you want your agenda to come into your mailbox every day at 5 a.m., you can do so. All you have to do is select this daily agenda, and every day at 5 a.m., you'll have your agenda. All right? So again, this is all about notifications where you choose how you want to be notified about events. When you finish, you click on save, and then we go back to the calendar. Now, we've done everything that's really important as it relates to our personal calendar. So the next thing I'd like for you to do is to select, you see right here where it says My Calendars, click on the drop down, and then select Create New Calendar. So this is what I was telling you in the opening. You can create any kind of calendar you want. You want a project calendar, you want a team calendar, you want to create a personal calendar. Any kind of calendar you desire, you can create. Now, remember when I was telling you that Lisa and Lynn can make changes to my calendar? Well, anyone that can make changes to your calendar will be able to see private events. So if you put an event on your calendar that's private, you know, your massage day or something like that, and that's private, but you've shared your calendar with someone else and they can make changes, they'll see that That's not a sick day. They're actually getting a massage, all right? So you might want to create a personal calendar for your personal events if you are sharing your calendar with someone else. So you can create any kind of calendar. A lot of people create team calendars. They have everyone on the team put their vacation days on there. Then you would share your calendar, and I show you how to share a calendar. Then you just click on Create Calendar, and right under your calendars where it says My Calendars, there you have it. There's the team calendar. All right, now we're going to go into confidential territory. So, yeah. All right, so you're Google guys. I want you to know everything. All right, so right here where it says My Calendars, click on the drop down and click on Settings. This is something we do not teach end users, but I want you to know. So go ahead and click on Settings. You're Google guides, and you never know what you may run into. So what you're looking at now is everything that has to do with calendar settings. The first thing you see are My Calendars. And again, these are calendars you can view and modify. You'll see your calendar, your task. Remember that team calendar that I created? Any of the calendars that you created will be right here. Reminders and notifications are right here. Shared settings are right here. Something else is right here. Delete. Now, this is not going to happen to anybody. You're not going to be working with anybody that's going to click on delete. All right? But I want you to know anyway. So if someone clicks on delete for their calendar, it is not going to delete their primary calendar. But what they will delete with their curious little selves, they will delete everything on their calendar. And what does this say? This action cannot be undone. All right? Nothing to worry about because nobody's going to, click on delete. Who would do that? All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and say don't delete. Now, something else that's important. When you share calendars, some people that you share a calendar with that may have the same ability to do what you're doing, let's say I created this team calendar. And let's say I'm no longer on this particular team. I transferred to a new team. If you create a calendar and you no longer need that team calendar, don't click on delete. You see right here, it says, are you sure you want to delete the team calendar? It will permanently be deleted for everyone who shares it, yes. Ryan had this to happen. No, Ryan didn't do it. It happened to him, all right? So there was a team calendar. Ryan is very giving. He shared this calendar with a group of people, and they had access to make changes and do things. And so somebody left the team, and they clicked on delete. They deleted the calendar for everybody. So if you're no longer going to need this calendar, simply unsubscribe. All right? So if you sharing a calendar and you don't need it anymore, unsubscribe. You see why I don't show this to, end users? Yes, it's too much information. But you need to know. You need to know if little hands get in trouble. So you just simply unsubscribe. So I'm going to click on Don't Unsubscribe. All right, so that's what I wanted you to see. Also, you can create a new calendar from here, from this menu option. You can import calendars, you can export calendars, and then we see the second set of calendars that we have, which are other calendars, and we're going to jump into that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and click back to calendar. And the second set of calendars that you see are other calendars. So these are the calendars that we can view, but we cannot manage. So I'm going to give me some more real estate. So if you want to get access to a coworker's calendar, this is what you would do. You would type the names of the coworkers you want to get access to, and that's what I'm doing. So I wanted to get access to Brian's calendar, to James's calendar. I'm going to scroll down. And I also have access to Fiona's calendar and Sydney's calendar. Now let's talk about differences in permission settings again. So you're probably wondering, or not, why Brian's calendar and James's calendar are right here under my calendar. Can anyone guess why their calendars are right here, and yet Sydney and Fiona, their calendars are right there? Absolutely, greater access. Give them all a t-shirt. All right. Greater access, absolutely. Brian and James allow me to make changes to their calendars. So anything that I can do to my calendars, I can do to Brian's calendar and James's calendar. It's not true with Fiona and Sydney. Again, Fiona, she's great. She only lets me see Free Busy. Sydney lets me see events, so I know she's at a team lunch, but I can't change this for her. Let me show you the difference. So if I click inside this date, I can click on the drop down, and you see I can put an event on Brian's calendar, on James's calendar, the team calendar, and the travel calendar. But you see, Fiona and Sydney, their names are not here. That's the difference. I can't put any event on any calendars under other calendars. All right? Now, the next thing I want to do, I want to talk about, because this comes in handy for a lot of people, especially admins, when they want to, when they are managing multiple calendars. As you see, Google overlays calendars on top of each other. There's no one separate screen just for Brian, just for James, or just for me. They're all together. If I just want to see Brian, I could do this. Click on the drop down and I'll say display only this calendar. So now the only calendar that's showing up is Brian's calendar. You see how that works? If I wanted to show James's calendar with it, I could just click right here and now James is showing. The calendars are color-coded. That's why I say that you may not, if you have to look at lots of different calendars, you may not want to color events and color the calendar. It's up to you. Stacy can manage it, but Stacy's a different breed. You know that. She's got it all together. She can juggle lots of stuff. All right. But I just wanted you to know that. Now, here's a workaround. If someone is adamant and they're like, I want to see these on separate calendars, the workaround is to open multiple tabs. You see what I have here? I have multiple calendar tabs open. So if someone says, I want to see them all on separate tabs, let me do a quick refresh. What we'll do now, let's discard, is say, all right, on this tab, we'll just have James. Let me do the day view. So on this tab, we'll just have James. On this tab, we'll just have Brian, etc. So you could flip back and forth. I'm just saying if someone is adamant and they're saying, I want to see everything separately, that's what they could do. They could see their calendar view. I can see James and I can see Brian. But if someone, is cool with having them all together, then they'll all be together. Just wanted to show you the different options that you have there because we're all different and we all like to work in different ways. We have preferences. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, and the next thing I'm going to do, now that we're in calendar, I want to show you some of the calendar labs. So I'm going to go under settings, and then I'm going to select labs. So we have calendar labs too. The calendar labs are not in alphabetical order. So what we do, we recommend the first 7 and the last 3. So the first 7 would be hide morning and night, gentle reminders, automatically declining events, event attachment. So you might thought that event attachment was something that would be standard, but it's not. It's actually a labs that would have to be enabled. And let me say something about automatically declining events. Automatically declining events works like this. You are all here today, and from 11:30 to 3:30, you're in a meeting. So if someone else sent an invitation for you for today for 11:30 to 3:30, if you, when you created your event for today, said automatically declining event, that means any event, any invitation that someone sent for today's date between those times, they would automatically receive a no. So you wouldn't have to send the no, it would just do it for you. If I'm just sharing with you, that's how that labs works. All right. Event Flare, who's my one-on-one with, which is a pretty cool feature. And you also have Jump to Date, Next Meeting, and World Clock. The calendar labs are the only labs that is safe if someone wanted to enable them all. This is the only one that's safe that they can enable them all. There are only a couple here, and they don't conflict with one another. So if they wanted to enable them all, they could. And in fact, the ones that I recommend all of them except background image and free busy. But that's just personal preference. Stacy likes background image. All right. Now, after you finish enabling the labs, you click on Save. And then when you click on Save, let's go back. Go back under Settings, and this time actually select Settings. And what we're going to do now is look at our calendar settings. You choose your language, your country, your time zone. Now, this is something else that I like. You have an opportunity to choose 2 time zones. You can choose the time zone that you're in, like I'm in the Eastern time zone, but I also have the Pacific time zone, and I want to show you what that looks like. You see that? So some of my team members are in the Pacific time zone, so when I'm setting up a meeting, I can see if it's going to be too early for them. Okay? So that's how that works. I'm going to go back to my settings. So you can choose the 2 time zone. It's only 2, but that's better than just 1. And then you have your date format, your time format, default meeting length. Now let me say something about the speedy meetings. Go ahead and click in speedy meetings. You can always deselect, remember that. So my boss uses this all the time because he's in back-to-back meetings all day. So instead of having one meeting end at 2, and another meeting started at 2, he was always late for meetings. So in order to not be late for meetings because they're all back to back, you change them so that you have 10 minutes between meetings. So one meeting starts at 1, ends at 1:50. The next meeting starts at 2, ends at 2:50. When I was working with one group of clients and I was telling them about the speedy meetings and how you have those 10 minutes, they said, if somebody knew that they had 10 minutes, they would book them for those 10 minutes. Now, that's a shame, isn't it? All right. I saw you had 10 minutes, you know. All right. Now, you decide when you want the week to start and your working hours. Cool features, event dimming. Let me say this. Some of the labs get promoted. Remember I said the labs are experimental features that the Google developers are working on? Well, a lot of the labs get promoted. Event dimming is one of those labs that's prime time now. So you can dim past events and you can dim reoccurring events so other events can pop out. You decide if you want to show the weekends and your default view. You decide what you want the default view to be, and you also decide what you want your custom view to be. And location. Even when I was teaching at the Weather Channel, they got excited about having the weather on their calendar. So you can, I didn't think it would matter to them, but it did. They were like, oh, wow. So you can have the weather on your calendar. All you have to do is put in your location, and you can choose Celsius or Fahrenheit. Now, 2 things that are really important. You see right here, show events you've declined, and automatically add invitations to my calendar. Google has set both of these to yes. So what does that mean? It means this. If I send you an invitation, that invitation is automatically going to appear on your calendar. And if you say no to that invitation, it will still be on your calendar with a strike through. That might work for you. One of my coworkers, she likes that. I don't. So, show events you've declined and automatically add invitations to your calendar. Just set this according to your own preference. Just know that right now, if you receive an invitation, it's automatically going to be on your calendar. And if you say no, it will still be on your calendar. And it might work for you. You might need to keep track of what you've said no to. I just want you to be aware of it, all right? And then when you finish selecting all of your other preferences, you want to go ahead and click on Save Changes. So go ahead and do that. And once you do that, I'm going to go to the month view. I'm going to only show my calendar right now because it's really busy. And then I'm going to show the weather and the holidays. So let me show you this. So now I have the 4-day forecast. You see that? Of course, this is for Atlanta. This is the 4-day forecast. And whatever city you chose, your location, you should see that as well. So that's pretty nice. And it's accurate. And then the next thing you have, you see you also have the holidays. And then follow along with me again, please. You see right here where it says Other Calendars? Click on the drop down and select Browse Interesting Calendars. When you browse interesting calendars, you have holidays. So you have holidays of other calendars, of other countries. And then you also have sports calendars. So if you're a big sports fan, and right now it's basketball season, and so I could click on the NBA and I'll subscribe to the Hawks since I'm from Atlanta. And then I will go back to my calendar. And you see I have little basketballs all over my calendar now. And I could click right here on Wednesday, and I see that we won by 1 point. That was nice. So we won. And I can click on more details, and I can see, how tight the game was in all the 4 quarters, etc. And then just go back. And it shows me any upcoming games. I see Saturday we're playing the Bulls. I can see, what time, what station, etc. So that's pretty neat. All right, so the next thing that you can do, and of course, baseball season and basketball season, they play so frequently. It's not as neat and tidy as football. Football is either going to be on Saturday or Sunday. We've got, we're Southerners, and, we like our college football, so it's either Saturday and it's Sunday, right? But you've got all of these baseballs and basketballs floating around, so you can always click right here, and you can just deselect. So you can show when you want to show, and if you don't want to see it, now you see it, now you don't. Really easy. All right. Everybody should just know that you're busy. The very intelligent question was, can you show yourself as busy during those times? Well, people should know you're busy during those times. All right. And going back to browse interesting calendars, the last thing is that you have more. You always have more. This is Google. There's always more. So you have contacts and birthdays. So when you do your contacts, if in your contacts you put their birth dates in there, then it will automatically show on your calendar. So you can be as personal as you desire to be. And then you have all of the other calendars as well. And then we just go back to the calendars. Now, let's take a look at some of those labs we created. You see right here where I'm pointing? I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to expand. And there we have some of the labs, like the world clock. You don't have to guess what time it is in other time zones. You have the world clock. You click on settings, and you can have as many time zones as you desire. And then you also have the event flare. Event flare is pretty cool. Remember the dinner with friends? We can click right here on our dinner with friends, and we can have a knife and fork icon. You see that? So now our dinner with friends will have a knife and fork icon. Very nice. And then we have the year view. So you can click right here. You can quickly go to the years to come as well as the years that have gone by. But no one wants to go to the years that have gone by. We're just moving forward, right? And then you also have your jump to date. If you wanted to jump to a date, you could do so. And next meeting. Lets you know how much time you have before your next meeting. Again, these are some of the labs that you enabled. All right? And then you can close it out or open it just like that. Now you see it, now you don't. Just like that. So that's calendar. Now we only have an hour left. So what we're going to do now is to go ahead and take a look at Google Drive. I think you're going to like this. How many of you have already worked with Google Drive? All right, a number of you have. All right, excellent. So let's go ahead and take a look at Google Drive. So to get to Google Drive, you just simply click on Drive. Now, if this is your first time clicking on Google Drive, and this is really important, especially if you are going to be working with someone, if they click on Google Drive for the very first time, you're going to see, when you click on Drive for the very first time, it's going to ask you if you want to download Google Drive. For the purposes of this training, you do not. Google has given us two types of drives. There's Google Drive for the browser. When you click right here, you're automatically in Google Drive. There's no need to download. But the first time you open your Google Drive, it's going to ask a trick question. Do you want to download Google Drive? It's talking about downloading Google Drive for your hard drive. So there's a Google Drive that will synchronize with the documents on your hard drive. That's another story. You follow what I'm saying? There are two drives, one for the hard drive, one for the browser. Right now, we're just going to talk about the browser. So here we have our Google Drive. And when you click on Drive, what you're looking at is your home page, similar to your inbox. You will see a drop down next to the drive. If you click on the drop down, you'll see some of your folders. Yes, we're back to folders. These are called folders now. So we're back to folders, and you have folders here under your drive. You can look at documents that are shared with you, because that's the beauty of Google Drive. It's all about collaboration. So if I wanted to look at everything that was shared with me, I'd click right here on Share It With Me. I could also look at documents that are starred. Now, you only have the gold star when you're working with your Google Drive. You don't have all of those cool stars that we had in Mail. And then you can also look at recent documents. This is everything you've recently opened or edited. And then, like I said, there's always more. You can click on More, and you can click on Activity, and you can see live updates of everything that you and others have modified. And you can also click on All Items. All Items is similar to what in your Mail? All Mail, absolutely. Now, in your Google Mail account, how long can you keep trash? 30 days, absolutely. In your Google Drive account, you can keep trash for as long as you desire, all right? There's no time limit on trash in your Google Drive. You can empty trash, and if you click on Empty Trash, it's going to say, hey, everything is going to be permanently deleted. Is that what you want to do? I'm just going to click on Cancel. And you see, you can't undo this action. Once you click on Empty Trash, there's no 30 days. It's gone. It's already in the trash. So I'm going to click on Cancel. Or you can just take documents that are in your drive and select that document and click Delete Forever. So if there's something you just want to move totally out of trash right away, you can click delete forever, and of course you can always restore. And search. I really like the ability to search in Google Drive. You see right here, it says owner, type, and more. When I click right here, I have my search options. Watch this. I can search from any type. I can search for any type of document. So let's say I wanted to search for a spreadsheet. So I click right here on spreadsheet. So all my spreadsheets appear. I can pare this down by saying I only want spreadsheets that are owned by me. So you see some of these spreadsheets are owned by Mariana and other people. So I'm going to say owned by me. So now it pares it down, only spreadsheets that are owned by me. Now what if I say I want spreadsheets that are owned by me and have the word cruise? So now it's going to pare it down even more. So I'm looking at spreadsheets that are owned by me that have the word cruise. And then what if I say, you know what? I just want to see everything that has the word cruise. So I will remove spreadsheets. I'll remove owned by me. And now I get to see everything that has the word cruise. Just showing you how you can filter out your documents in your Google Drive. So now I'm going to go back to my recents. And let's take a look at other things we can do in our drive. So we can create documents. You see right here where it says create? I'm going to click on the drop down. I can create a document, a presentation, a spreadsheet, a form, a drawing, a folder. If you are a developer, you can work with your different apps, and you can also create from a template. So I'm going to click right here on From Template. And if I go to Public Templates, you might even see templates that have been created by people from Crew. And I'm going to type Wendell and click on Search Templates. And see, we have some templates that have been created for Crew, like Crew, Leadership Application, etc. So templates are cool pieces. So if you want to create a template and you want everyone on your team to use that template, you can do so. All right, just by creating it under the template gallery. Really easy. So now I'm just going to close out of this and go back to Google Docs. Now, upload. You will be able to upload files and folders, and I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment. But I want to continue with the overview. So I'm going to click right here on this document entitled Exotic Places. Just like in your mail account, you will never see menu options until you select an item. I select an item, I see my menu options. The first menu is the ability to share, and that's Google's big deal. You can share documents with anyone, and you're going to see that Google gives you lots of opportunities to share. You can organize, so I can move this to a folder. Right now you see it's in Fun Places, right? You see it's in Fun Places. I can click right here and I can say, I want this to also be U.S. travel. So I'm going to add my Fun Places and going to add or move it to U.S. travel. So I'm going to click right here. Well, other users will no longer see this item in the shared folder. Well, I still want them to see it, so I'm just going to click on cancel. But you do see that you can organize. You can organize by just simply selecting this and clicking on organize, and you can move it to different folders. All right? Now, the next thing we can do, of course, you can always remove an item. And one of my favorites is preview. Watch this. When I click on this document, I get a preview of this document. So you may not remember what a document looks like, but you put it in preview and you say, oh yeah, that's right, that's the right document. I'm going to scroll down. I can see how many people I've shared this document with, who's the owner, who are the editors. I could give this document a description. I see which folder it's in. I see when it was last modified by me and when it was last opened by me. So this is how that works. So that's previewing a document. The other thing that I can do is click on More. So these are all the items, the action items I have under More. You see that? One of the things I want to stop and talk about is marked as unviewed. So in your mail account, you have things as read and unread. In your Google Drive account, you have things marked as viewed and unviewed. And they will be bold if they have not been viewed by you since they were last modified. So even though I own this document, I'm the owner of this document, Roby made some changes on the 16th. I have not opened this document since the 16th. That's why it's bold. The other thing I want to show you is this. You can also just click inside, you see that, of any document, and you'll still get the menu option. So you can get the menu option from going under More, or you can get the menu option just by clicking inside any document that you want. All right? Now, the next thing we're going to do is to continue our little overview. You can sort a number of different ways, and you also have a list view, and you also have a grid view. So if you wanted to look at your documents with the grid view, you can. So here's the grid view of all of my documents. And then on the drop down, I do want you to follow along with me on this. When you click on settings, you do have your density. You have the same kind of density in mail, comfortable, cozy, and compact. And then you have your settings. Go ahead and click on settings. When you click on settings, you see you have your language, your time zone, where you want an item to open, and your update indicators. What's important under settings is storage. So you have 5 gigabytes of space. Now, the only documents that count towards your 5 gigabytes limit are unconverted documents. What do I mean by that? And when we go back to uploading documents, any document that you leave in its native format, for instance, you upload an Excel spreadsheet, but you leave it as an Excel. You don't convert it to a Google Doc. Well, it will eat away at the 5 gigs. But as long as you convert that document to a Google Doc, it does not eat up your 5 gig. So unconverted documents eat at that 5 gigabytes of space. But as long as you convert the documents to Google Docs, your 5 gig is untouched, all right? And we're going to talk some more about that. And whatever is in your trash counts towards the 5 gig. So even though I said you don't have to delete your trash, you may need to delete your trash if some of the documents in there are starting to eat up at your 5 gigs, all right? Under editing, not much to do right here. You just have your right to left controls, and I don't think you have experimental features, but that's not a problem. So let's go back to Google Drive. And the next thing I want to do, I want you to go back under settings. And then I want you to click right, you see right here, upload settings. This is really important. I want you to make sure confirm settings before each upload is selected. This is important. You want to make sure you confirm settings before each upload. So go ahead and do that. All right, now after you've done that, let's go ahead and upload some documents. So I'm going to click right here on upload. And then you can follow along if you want to upload some of your documents as well. So I'm going to click on files. So I'm going to upload 4 documents: a Word, a PowerPoint, an Excel, and a PDF. And I'm going to select Open. Now, if you are following along and you didn't get this pop-up screen, it's because you didn't select Confirm before each upload. All right? So you want to make sure you confirm before each upload. It's important because sometimes you will want to convert documents and sometimes you may not want to convert a document. But if you don't confirm before each upload, it will either always convert or always not convert your documents, but you want the choice to be yours. So, converted documents and presentations, that's what I'm doing, and converting the PDF, and I'm confirming settings. Now, the other reason you may want to convert documents is not just because of the 5 gigs, but unconverted documents cannot be edited online. You can share unconverted documents, but you cannot edit unconverted documents. That's the other difference. So right now, if I have, well, let me go ahead and click on Start Upload. I'm going to click on Start Upload. So right now, I have these 4 documents. Now, I'm converting these 4 documents. That means I can share these documents with everybody in this room, because you can share documents with up to 200 people. And up to 50 people can be in a document all at the same time making changes. Isn't that fun? Yes, who wouldn't want to have 50 people in their document all at the same time making changes, right? If you needed to do so, you will be able to do so. But if you don't convert the document, you can share it with the people, but no one can go in and make changes. That's the difference. Now, another thing I want to point out is this. When you are working in your Google Docs, if you see documents with an alphabet like this is an X. Well, first, let me step back. All of my documents were successfully converted, and I could click on Share right here and share the documents. But I'm not going to share from this setting. I'm just going to click on the X. So I wanted to say this. Documents that have an alphabet, an X, a P, a W, you will know that those documents are in their native format. The X, and I'm hovering over, you also see that it says Microsoft Excel. So I know this is Excel. I know this is Excel because it's an X. I don't think I have any other alphabets. But documents that have not been converted will have alphabets. Converted documents will have icons. You'll hover over and I see this is a document, this is a spreadsheet, this is a presentation, and this is a document. So the Google icons will let you know these documents have all been converted. Now, I want to just do a quick before and after. So I'm going to go back to my document right here, and I'm going to open the Word document. 5 things you can do with attachments. I'm going to open this document up. So I'm opening this document in its native format, which is Word. So here's the document. I say Word document. We have 2 graphics on the first page. And we have 2 graphics as well as hyperlinks on the second page. All right, so this is the document as a Word. Let's see what Google did with this document. So I'm going to click right here. Here's the document, 5 things you can do with attachments. I open it up as a Google Doc, and this is what Google did with the document. The formatting was maintained, as you see. My 2 graphics are still there. And so are my 2 graphics on my second page and the hyperlink does work. I would click right here and just click and open up the hyperlink. So this pretty much is apples to apples. This particular document right here, I uploaded it and now it's a Google Doc. When you upload documents, as you see, the original document is unharmed, it's still in its native format, it's still there. You are not altering the original document when you upload a document. Your original document is still there. Does that make sense? Okay, good. All right, now the next thing I want to do, I'm going to quickly open this document, which was an Excel. It's called Closings. So this is the Excel document this is the original Excel. So let's see what Google did with this document. So I'm going to go under Documents, going to go under back to Google Drive. I'm going to click on closings, and it's the same. This is the document as a Google Doc. This is the document as an Excel. Test out documents. Sometimes it's apples to apples. Sometimes it's apples to peanut butter. No, I'm just kidding. It's still a fruit. Sometimes it's apples to oranges, all right? But test out the documents and see how they convert. Another question that I get when I'm working with my documents, I'm going to close out this Excel, and I'm going to close out this Word. Sometimes when I'm working with clients, they ask, well, once a document has been uploaded, can I convert it back again? The answer is yes, but I wouldn't do that. So you can, but the formatting is going to be so raggedy. So I'm going to click on File. You can click on File, and I can click on Download As, so I can download it back as an Excel. So the answer is yes. Then you would have 3 copies of it. You have the original Excel, you have what you uploaded, and then you would have what you downloaded. I don't know why you would want to do that, but people always ask, all right? So the answer is yes, you can, but I wouldn't do it. All right. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is this. You see all the formatting features that you're used to in your Excel are right here. Plus, you see that? Every change you make is automatically saved. So every change that you make is automatically saved. Now, the next thing I want to show you is this. This is pretty neat. I'm going to go under Tools. You have notification rules. So, like I said, you can share this document with up to 200 people, and up to 50 people could be in this document making changes. Then that's what's so cool about Google Docs. In the old collaboration world, you would take a document and you would email that document to everybody. So if I wanted all of you to make changes to a document, I would email it to all of you, which is over 100, and then all of you would send it back to me. Wouldn't that be a headache? Because now I've got to go, I would have to go back and I would have to look at all the different changes everybody has made. Well, Google Drive, you don't have to do that. Instead of emailing the document to everybody, I bring everybody to the document and say, hey, here's the document. You can get in and make your changes. That's the beauty of Google Doc. So once I invite you to come into this document and make changes, I can be notified every time you make a change to this document, which is great. So let me show you how to do that. I'm just going to go ahead. Well, you see notification settings. I'm going to click on Cancel. All I have to do is click on Share. And Stacy, are you on? You and Ryan, are you in? Yeah, I'm going to do it with you. So I'm going to share this document with Stacy. All right. And so I'm going to give Stacy, it defaults to editor, so Stacy's going to be able to edit. You can also say she can only view, but I want Stacy to be an editor. So Stacy's going to be able to edit this document. So I'm going to click on Save and Share. And now it's done. So I'm going to talk a little while I give Stacy an opportunity to get into this document. So now Stacy is an editor. I can click back on it, and you see she could be an owner, an editor, or a viewer. Actually, because we're in different domains, you see she's at crew.org and I'm Wing Travel. She couldn't be an owner, but you can make someone else the owner as long as they're in your domain, all right? And I could make her a viewer. Let me show you what owners can do. I'm going to click right here on Change. Right now, as an editor, Stacy can add Ryan. Stacy can add anybody she wants, actually, to this document. So, Stacy, if you wanted to add some of the trainers from yesterday to this document, you could do so. So, Stacy can add some others to this document because you see right here, editors would be allowed to add people and change permission settings. So, Stacy, if you would add some others, I'm going to click on Change. If you did not want your editors to add other people, you would say only the owner can change permission and add people. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Save. and done. So now you see right here where it says one other viewer, Stacy is in this document. Now where is Stacy? I know exactly where she is. You see that? She's the color red. I'm just going to click right here. And Stacy and I could start a chat. And I'm going to say, that's great work. And so now, watch this. I'm going to close mine out because I want you to see that it's going to flash. You see that? Now it's flashing back and forth. So I know Stacy has sent me a chat. Plus it says there's 2 others. Look at that. Mike is also in this document. Where's Mike? Mike is right here. So Mike's in the document and Stacy's in this document. No headaches for me. We're all in this document all at the same time making changes. You see that? They're in. This is Mike. This is Stacy. We're all color-coded. I can go in and I can make changes too. You see, I'm making changes. Isn't that wonderful? Everybody's in making their changes. Love it. Hi, you see that? Pretty cool. Now, your next... All right, so the next thing we can do is this. Now that everybody's in this document, what about revision history? I'm glad you asked. Watch this. So I'm going to go under File, See Revision History, so I can keep up with what's going on. So I can click right here and go back to what this document looked like before Stacy and Mike join. Watch this. I'm going to click right here on today at, this one right here. And I can restore this revision. Watch this. I'm going to click on Restore this revision. And it's going to restore this document as if Mike and Stacy were never in it. You see that? And then I can go back to File, See Revision History, and change it. And the thing is, because Mike and Stacy have the same permissions that I do, they could go in and change the revision and say, I said I liked it that way. So they could go in and change it back. But the thing is, and the point is, you never lose your history. As many changes as we want can go into this document, and you will never lose your history. I can go to any version of this document that I want. And so I never had to email it to them. I invited them to join in with me in this group. And I always know what's going on because all I have to do is to select notifications. When I know people are in the document all at the same time, let's say Stacy was back in Colorado, and let's say Mike was in Oregon, and I'm in Mississippi. We could all be working in the document all at the same time and chatting with one another. That is great. That's the new collaboration. That's what we do now. So emailing someone, emailing a group of people a document and telling them to make the changes, that's old school. Now we bring everybody to the document. Just like that. Now, the next thing I want to do, I want to also show you that you can make comments. So you could go in and make comments about this document as well. So I could go in, and this is what's so cool. If I had a question about this number, I could right-click and click on Insert Comment. And I could specifically send an email message to someone. So I'm going to show you this from my computer. So I'm going to do, Nicholas. So I'm going to do I'm going to type my message first. What is this? All right. And then I'm going to say and I'll just do Sydney. She came up first. So at Sydney Bristow. So watch what's going to happen. I'm going to click on, you know who Sydney Bristow is. So I'm going to click on comment. She's my alias. Double words, yeah, okay. So I'm going to click on comment. So you know that I didn't share this document with Sydney. I shared it with Mike and Stacy. But I just sent Sydney an email asking, what is this? And I specifically am talking about this figure right here. So in a moment, I'm going to go back to Sydney's account, and I'm going to go into Sydney's inbox. And let's do the priority inbox. That's easier to view. So in a moment, we're going to get an email message. Sydney's going to get an email message, and it's going to have that information highlighted. I just want to show you how that works because it's just really cool. All the different collaboration features you have. Hasn't come in yet, but it's coming soon. And when it does, I will go back to that. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, let me show you a couple of other things that we can do when we're working with our Drive. One of my favorite features, one of my favorite features in Drive is forms. I said wow because it's 3:02. We're almost finished, and I need to move on. So let me show you this. I'm going to go ahead and create, and you can follow along with me if you like. I'm going to click on Create, and I'm going to create a form. This is really nice. A lot of people create forms. If you're used to SurveyMonkey, you're going to like form. Anytime you want to collect information, gather data, you can use a form. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to choose the cherry blossom. Carl really liked that yesterday, the cherry blossom. And the title of this form is going to be, this is going to be the Crew The Cool Google Ice Cream Party. All right, so I'm going to click on OK. Great. The title automatically appears right here, and I've chosen my theme. It's the cherry blossom. Now, I can require people to sign into this form or not. Let me tell you the pros and cons. So if I automatically collect correspondence user's name, that means they have to be part of Wing-Win Travel. But if I wanted to, and in your case, if you wanted to send this to people outside of Crew, then you would not select either of these. You follow along? What you would do to collect user's name, and you may want to make it anonymous anyway, but if you wanted to collect user's name, your question number 1 would be first name or name, bless you, all right? But I'm going to go ahead and collect username so I can show you how this works. So the form description, we are celebrating going Google. So let me type that. All right, now, first question. So our first question type is going to be favorite flavor. Oh, gosh. All right, now, we're going to have a multiple choice question. I'm going to click on the drop down. You see I have options, but I do want the first one to be multiple choice. So it's going to be vanilla. Yeah, the same old, right? But I'm going to give you an opportunity to add other. How about that? All right, so you can be creative. And I'm going to make this a required question. Now I want a second question. So I'm going to add an item. This question is going to be checkbox. So my second question is going to be favorite toppings. I could put in a help text like select as many as desired, and the toppings are going to be all right, and you can add another. And we're going to make this required. And the last question, I'm going to add another item. The last question, and the reason I'm doing 3, because I want to show you the way the 3 different question types look, is going to be choose from a list. And so this question type is going to be stop. Oh, I think I'm talking to a real mouse. Stop, mousy. Sugar, waffle, and chocolate. All right, we do overload, don't we? Who would need sugar and chocolate with ice cream? You said me? All right, so let's make this required. Now I'm done. I could always, you see this, I could edit, I could duplicate, and I can delete. And I have those options. I have those options for all three, you see, just like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on done. So now I'm done. And so now I have other options here. I'm just going to leave it at the default setting, and I'm going to click on Send Form. So now I'm going to add the people. I'm going to do Sydney, Nicholas, Deborah, trying to remember all the different email addresses I already have up, and Lynn. All right, that's good. So then I'm going to click on Send. Oh, include form in email. I'm including the form in the email so I can demonstrate to you what this looks like. I would not do, if this was my form, I would not include the form in the email. But I want to show you what it looks like when you include the form in the email, all right? So when I click on Send. All right, so now it is sending it to my recipients, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on Create. Great. So that's done, and here I am. Remember when I sent Sydney that email that said, you know, what is this? This is it. So she would go in and she would click, and under the document closing, that's that number. And remember I said, what is this? Isn't that pretty neat? So she gets this comment. She would be able to go in and click on it and open it up and see it. All right, back to the ice cream party. So Sydney got the email, the link. When it says include the form, this is the form. You see that? The Google ice cream party. This is the form. If I did not include the form, which I would not do, she would just get the link. And I'm going to show you the differences. Usually, when someone sees a form, they're going to ignore the link. And they're just going to go in and they're going to make their selections. All right? Just like that. Now, you see review and submit. And then I'm going to click on OK. It actually takes it back, and she has to say, yes, submit my response. But watch this. I'm going to go to, let's see, let me escape. I'm going to go to another account. Whose account? I thought I had another account. I don't. Oh, anyway, I thought I had Deborah's account up, but I don't. So I'm going to do Sydney again. So let's go back. If Sydney was taking this again the second time, I'm going to open it up again. If we only included the link, she would click on the link, and the link would automatically bring her here. And then she would choose what she wanted to choose. And click. You see, it's not review and submit. Here it's just submit. That's the difference between including the link and not including the link. It's just an extra click. It's not a big deal, but I just would like to give people one less click. Did you see that? Does that make sense? Okay, good. All right, now let's go back to my account, and we're going to take a look at the office, the party, the Crew Google Ice Cream Party. So I'm going to click on the spreadsheet. And when I open the spreadsheet, I get the timestamp, the username, favorite flavor, favorite toppings, favorite cone. You see how fast that was? And I can always go under the form. I can edit the form. I can send the form. I can go to the live form, embed it in a web page, and this is my favorite, show summary of responses. I can click right here and look at this. I have a pie chart for favorite flavor. Yes, like I've been slaving over this all day. I have a bar chart for favorite toppings, another pie chart, and a graph for the number of daily responses. That happened just like that. That's why I really like to demonstrate form, because you can think of lots of different ways and reasons you may want to use a form to quickly quickly gather information. And plus, you can right-click on this, and you can copy the image, and you can put it in a presentation. Oh yeah, lots. All right, so that's it. It's almost 3:15. So I know Stacy wanted to come back, and there are a couple of other things to be said and done, but that is mail, calendar, and drive in a nutshell. All right? Thank you.
Okay, Felicity, you want to do questions for a few minutes?
Sure.
Okay. So I just want to show you guys something really quick that we kind of yelled from the back of the room at the very beginning. There's a little trick about signing on our accounts. And the reason is because we are going through Relay the same way that you get onto your email now. You know, now if you want to get onto your email online, you go to mail.ccci.org. With this, you'll go to mail.cru.org. But there's a lot of Google products that if you want to use them, you're at some point or another going to need to sign in from the Google sign-in. And there's a little trick to do that. Can I use your computer?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'll hold your mic.
Thank you. Uh-oh. I should have practiced with your mouse, huh? Okay. Oops. How do I get to the sign-in from here? Can I just...
From here? Yeah. If you want to get in the sign-in from here,
Yep, but it's...
you can click on the
so I'll
drop down, right, and then you can click on Add Account.
So this is actually a good example. Let's say you're in your personal Gmail and you want to be able to then flip over to your crew. So you add an account. Add an account. Add using Gmail.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to put in your email. I hope nobody sent me anything personal recently. Sometimes you can put in your password, sometimes you can't, or you can just leave this blank. Then see what happens? It comes up blank, and it says to sign in with this account, click sign in. So it's hard. It's not very intuitive to do that, but then you need to click sign in, and then it will take you to Relay. And from there, you just, you just sign in. And somebody asked, what will it look like in ours? So here is the main difference. I have a theme on, the ocean theme, and it changes throughout the day. But our little logo, our crew logo will be up here, and that's kind of the only difference from what you've seen in Felicity's. So anyways, just wanted to show you guys that, as it's, like I said, it's a little bit tricky. You also might have to do that on your phone. So it's kind of good to know. You just press the sign in button twice, and it will take you to Relay. It's a little workaround. So those of you here live at Lake Hart have a poster on your table. Please make sure and take a poster with you. So you don't have to put it up yet. Get some time in Google under your belt. But when it gets to be around the go live times, you're going to want to put that up so that people can identify you. And you may not want to be identified, but please do. For those of you in a regional or national office, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be sending packets of these out. For those of you on the field, I'm assuming that the rest of your team knows who you are, and you probably don't have an office anyways, so a poster isn't really necessary. If you really want a poster, email Go Google. I'll email you the file, and it's easy to print out. So. Also, for those in the room, I'm really sorry, everybody else, that it's really not worth it to mail them to you. But for those of you in the room, you'll see there's a little egg timer on your table. And I know that you may still feel differently, and that's okay, but we really believe that using Google is going to save you and our ministry significant amounts of time. And so we're giving you some time in your egg timer. Another way to use that is if you follow the David Allen methodology of getting things done, which we know many people do, it's a roughly 2-minute timer. And so one of the things he says is that anything that you can do in 2 minutes, it will take you less time to just do it then rather than put it off till later. But if it's going to take you more time, you kind of want to go ahead and schedule a time to do that. And so giving the timer gives you a little idea of how long 2 minutes really is. So little fun, silly things, but hopefully you enjoy them. Okay, so let's take a couple of questions. And if you have some questions online, now remember, try to think, would this be on the FAQs? But if you have a question for Philistia in this short amount of time that we have her, go ahead and raise your hand. And then, Carl, can you let me know if any come in on the chat?
I'm going to answer this question from David. The question is there a way to back up a team calendar so it can be restored if it is deleted? No. So what you have to do, if you have a team calendar and there are people who have the same permission rights that you do, what I would do, I would just make sure they understood that if they were leaving the team, to not touch the calendar. One of the things, one thing that you could do if you knew someone was going to leave the team, let me go to calendar. So if here's my travel calendar. So I'm going to go under settings. And I'm going to go under share, edit settings. So here are some of the people I've shared this calendar with. If I knew Lisa was leaving the team, I would just go ahead and delete her if I was afraid that she would delete the calendar. I would beat her to it. One of the things you can do too, you can also add groups. You see this? This is a group, so you can add a group to a calendar as well. But if I had a number of team members, I would first, make sure they understood how the calendar worked, and I would, maybe I wouldn't even let them know they could delete the calendar. Okay? Number one, don't let them know they can delete the calendar. Number two, beat them to it if you know they're leaving. Because if they delete it, it is deleted, and there's no backup. And then the other part to David's question was, let's see. What happens when my time zone changes when I travel? Does it change to another time zone? No, it's not like the phone. It's been a long day. It's not like your phone. When you cross different time zones, your phone will change. Google doesn't change. So if you're going to be in a different time zone, you will want to adjust that yourself by just going under settings and just, let me show you. We always say show. So you would just go under that's mail. That won't work. You go under, let's go back to calendar.
While she's finding that, I'll say I flip back and forth between Pacific time zone and here on a regular basis right now. And I know in Outlook that used to mess me up a lot. I would switch time zones on my computer and everything would go crazy, and that doesn't happen to me here. I just switch my time zone when I get here, and then I switch it back when I get there, and it keeps track. Mm-hmm. So it sets my appointments in the correct time, and new appointments that are sent, it just somehow works where it never did before. So
you would just click right here on your current time zone under settings and just change it if you were in a different place. That's what Stacy does. Okay. All right, other questions? Yes.
Once you've archived some email, do you have a way, once it's archived, to organize it into folders and things like tabs?
Absolutely, because archive just does what, ladies and gentlemen? Exactly, just removes it from the inbox. So once you're in all mail, you can still do whatever you want to. So I'm in my all mail, and if I want to move this to crew, I can. So it's just a place, but you can still go in and you can do whatever you want to that mail.
Please repeat the question when it comes to this.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the question was, once your mail is once you've clicked on archive and the inbox label is removed and that mail is in all mail, can you do anything else to it? And the answer is absolutely, because all mail is just another label. And so you can go in, and as you see, you can add labels to any message from any label that you're in. You can add labels from sent, from drafts, from all mail, from any of the labels you've created. You will always be able to add labels, absolutely. Yes?
You share a portion of a Google Doc for editing, but not the rest of the document?
Excellent question. The question was, can you share a portion of a Google Doc for editing, not the rest of the document? No, you cannot. It's an all or nothing, yeah. Yes?
For Google Drive, if it's, if I have a file on my Google Drive folder on my desktop and delete it, is it completely deleted? Like, can I have it shared? Does that make sense?
Okay, ask the question again now.
If I have a file on my Google Drive folder on my desktop
On your desktop, okay.
and I delete it, either purposely or accidentally, is it gone for everyone or everywhere?
If it's on your hard drive and you delete it, if you were synchronizing it with your Google Drive, it probably is going to be gone everywhere. If you were synchronizing it with Drive, because it's just, I haven't done that, but I'm assuming that it would be deleted from both places. Yeah.
And if you delete it on the web browser version, it's also just gone, right?
Right.
But they go to trash, which then you would have to empty your trash for it. So you kind of have a couple steps. So the question was, if you're syncing between Google Drive and in the cloud and on your desktop, if you delete it in one place, is it going to delete it in the other? And the answer, we think, is yes. So lots of questions.
Yes.
So when you convert a Google Doc from, like, say, Word to a Google document, and then but you're using Drive to sync with your laptop, doesn't report. Does that Google? Are you no longer able to edit that document then offline anymore? Or
Absolutely right. You cannot. Yeah. So the question was, when you are working with Google Drive on your desktop, will you be able to share that document? And let me tell you, our company, Cloud Sherpas, we only use the Google Drive on the hard drive as a backup. Because it's not the Google Drive on the hard drive is not meant for sharing and collaboration. We just use it to back up our files. So yes, yes.
Is there a way to only share a portion of your email? For example, right now my boss shares just certain folders with me and he has private folders. Is there a way to do that?
Excellent question. So the question is there a way, if I'm sharing my mail account with someone, is there a way to only let them see certain information, certain labels, etc.? The answer is no. It's all or nothing. Another question. Yes.
I have two questions. My team uses conference email accounts a lot of times, Big Break at career.org, USF Training at career.org, and so many people access those and send and receive emails through them, but not on behalf of. It's just from that account. How would
Okay.
you handle that?
So the question was basically, how do shared mailboxes work in in Google versus how they've worked in Outlook? That's actually a very complicated question that we're figuring out right now. And so there's actually meetings going on about it today, because depending on you can delegate an account up to 20 people. But it just depends. Well, it's not really true. You can delegate it up to way more, but only 20 can be in an account at the same time. Is that correct?
Okay. Unless it changed, I thought you could only delegate to 10 people.
Could be 10. I thought it was 20.
Okay.
Anyways, it's complicated. Every situation is different. Basically, what they're doing right now, what the tech guys are doing, they've sent emails out to lots of people, many of you, even in this room, that have said, what shared accounts do you have? How do you use them? How many people? How do they work? And depending on the answers will be depending on if it will be converted into a group or a shared account, and then instructions will follow as we figure out more of how that works. So, and I know yours is a more urgent one, and I've escalated it up. You're welcome.
Let me know how that works out.
We will.
Okay, my other question is, what would be the best way to access our email on our smartphones? Is there a Gmail app, or should we just keep using the mail app on our phone?
I'm sorry, what was the best way to do what on your phone?
To check our email on our phones.
Right. Well, I have an iPhone, so I can't talk for all phones, but with my iPhone, I didn't have to do anything. I just put in my Google account, and all my mail was there. I didn't have to do anything. What about you, Stacy?
That will be some of the documentation that will go up onto the website. Different strokes for different folks. There's a Gmail app. There's some other third-party apps. There's using your native phone, syncing. They have different features and different functionalities. I actually have all of them on my phone right now, trying to decide which one I like best, and that's a little messy. But so some of it will be you playing around and seeing what you like best. But others of it will be, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. There's some good articles on lifehacker.com on what apps work best with Gmail on iPhone and with Android, and Google it and you'll find tons of information. But we'll have documentation showing you how to do each way for each different kind of phone. So.
Yes.
This is a quick one. I saw a way to create a task from a mail message. I didn't see a way to create an event in the calendar.
Oh, right. So when you are in your calendar, thank you. So the question was about tasks on your calendar. Thank you very much. So when you're in your calendar and you want to create a task, you can do that a number of ways. So first, I'm going to click right here on task. When I click on task, all of my tasks appear. So the tasks that I created in my mail account synchronize with my calendar. So here are the tasks. You see how they appear. They appear like this. I'm sorry, let me go back to 7. If I click on 7, it appears like this on the day view. The tasks look like this from the week view. So this is what your tasks look like. Now, one of the things I was telling you is that if you need to create a task, let's go back. It's not going to show me, it's giving me an appointment slot. So let me go to the month view. If you want to create a task and you need that task to reoccur or you need reminders, I would not click on task, because if you click on task, it's not going to reoccur or remind you. I would create that as an event. So if my task was to run report, let me do caps so it's easier to read. Oh, am I answering your question about task?
Yeah, actually, you are.
Okay.
I would create a task instead of a calendar event because
Right.
it can show up in the calendar.
Right. So I would just create the event, because you saw how to create. You said that when I was in mail, you saw that you could select an email message, go under more, and add it to tasks. You said you saw that, right? Okay, that's what he saw.
Now I get it, because tasks can show up in calendar. That works great.
Right. Exactly.
You can also create an event, though. You just have to open the email.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I thought he was asking. Like, how do you actually create an event from the email?
Okay.
So, anyways.
Yes.
Hold on. Actually, I'm going to, Carl, do you have any from online? We're kind of catering to this room. I want to make sure there's none out there.
I've mostly been answering them online, but maybe if you could comment on how these guys are going to find out what events they're expected to guide at.
Okay, I'll get back to kind of some of the Google Guide things. Let's give one more question. So really, is this a question that everybody in the room probably needs to know? Who thinks they have it?
Okay.
I myself, a lot of my members of my team spend time in airplanes, or basically they, for one reason or another, are not connected to the internet. So basically, one is, how do you create emails out of this if they're not using an Exchange server? But two, how do you create documents when you're not connected to the internet?
Right. So there's no Gmail. I'm sorry.
Repeat the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right. So the question was, how do you create? It's about Google Drive offline. So there's no Google Drive offline. That hasn't come yet. So if you're working on documents, you can't work with your documents offline, because there's no Gmail, there's no Google Mail, no Google Drive for offline.
There's Google Docs for offline, so you can...
So let me go to Drive, and what you'll have to do, So when you're in Google Drive, I think it's a Chrome app. It's a Chrome app. So let me go to Chrome. Go to the store again. So anything that you want offline, you're going to have to go to the Chrome store. So I'm just going to type offline and see. Let's see. So you have Gmail offline. I had not seen. I haven't seen Drive offline. That's why I was saying. But Stacy says she's seen it.
One of the wonderful things about Google is they are constantly adding new things. And so even as we've been doing the training from one day to the next, they've added new features. Right. But I have used offline docs.
Okay.
And they have offline, and these are all through the Chrome store, but they have, I think the docs, you have to enable offline docs. You can do it with email, you can do it with calendar. It doesn't have all the full functionality. I live in a very rural area right now where my internet goes in and out, and I've been able to do everything I needed to do from all of those offline clients. So, Does that answer your question? Yeah. Carl.
You're probably only seeing the docs that you drag from shared with me to my drive, right? And not ones that are only in shared with me. And well, anyway, another question we had for Felicia is that show next meeting, calendar labs, will that only look at your primary calendar, or can you point it to other calendars? And repeat that question because they can't hear me.
Okay. So when you were asking about when you're looking at I'm going to go under edit. So if I was creating an event and you're talking about the find the time, is that?
No, in the labs you have show your next event.
Oh, a calendar lab called Show Next Event? Okay, hold on.
It's down here. It's next meeting.
Oh, next meeting? Oh, next meeting. Right, thank you. Okay, so the question is, when you're looking at this lab called Next Meeting, letting you know what time your next meeting is, whether or not this is going to show on all of your calendars, the answer is it's just your primary calendar.
Can you show all your calendars on that?
No, for the next meeting, it's just going to show the next meeting it's a lab, so it's just showing the next meeting for your primary calendar. It's not showing all of your calendars, yes. All right.
All right, so let me give you a little bit of questions or of information about going back to your job as a Google Guide. When will you find out the information? The thing is it's different for everyone. And so it depends on where you're at and who you're there. We are working hard to figure out all those details just as fast as we can. And as soon as we have them, the information will go out to you. And so in general, the timeline is that your account as a Google Guide will begin migrating Friday night, February 8th. We'll move all weekend, and then when you come in the morning on February 11th, it will be live for you to go with 30 days of email in it, at least, at a minimum. Then the rest of the email will continue filling in. It depends on how many emails you have, on how long that process will take. Some of you might be quite a long time. An email will go out to you. It's literally scheduled in MailChimp to go out to you, I think, on Monday, that will tell you all of these details. So if you forget right now, that's okay. But, we will ask that if you can, stay out of your email over that weekend. I mean, come on, guys. Take a weekend without email. Can you imagine the freedom? We know some of you can't. And if you can't, you can't. Weird things will happen. Things will be here and not go over there, or things will go over there and not be here, and weird things happen. So if you can stay out, do. If you absolutely have to get into your email and your calendar and those types of things, then you have to, and we'll figure it out. And so but information on how do I set up my mobile phone? How do I do all those types of things? They will come when your account is ready, because we don't want you to try to do any of those things until the account is fully ready, or else some things could kind of get messed up. So we're not even putting that information up until it's useful. The other thing is so then the general timeline, you guys migrate. The same process happens for Lake Hart on March 1st through 4th. So everybody who parks in the parking lot at Lake Hart, their email will migrate over then. That previous week, they will be going through the trainings that will be given by a trainer and that Google Guides will be present to help for. So if you're a Lake Hart Google Guide, you can expect that first week, that last week of February, you might need to be available for some trainings. And then on March 4th, you'll need to be in the office available to help. Then everyone else around the world, and you are all around the world, will have that exact same process happen 1 week later. So March 8th, is that a Friday? Yes, March 8th, you will, the week before, there will be trainings, there will be some live hub locations, there will be some, live hub locations, and there will be some, just training, like attending online, and we are figuring those out. We'll let you know where those are and how to sign up for those just as soon as we have that, but the time frame will be the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so 6th, 7th, and 8th of March. The 8th it starts migrating. The 11th they go live, and you need to be available and with a smiling, shiny face on to help them. So, question. I saw, do you still have one in the back of the room about that?
I had some general questions.
About Google Guide or about Google?
Are our calendar items going to be migrated over?
Great. Thank you for asking that question. For all early adopters, meaning you guys, and then there's a whole group of early adopters being trained next week who won't be guides, but they will be moving over. Calendar is a sticky issue. Basically, all of your information will move over, but then they won't continue to sync after that. And so if it's important to you that your free busy information is available to people that have not yet moved to Google, if you have people on your team, or if you have, that's important, you're going to need to keep both calendars up to date for the next 3 or 4 weeks, depending on when the rest of your people, move over. And so there's a couple workarounds. We will document those, but basically, it's kind of like always copying yourself. So if you send the email, if you send the appointment from your Google Calendar, send it to yourself so that you can then accept it in Outlook too, or mail, or if you send it in mail, accept it in both places, is kind of one of the best workarounds for that. But that is sticky. It's short-lived. I've moved back and forth between the two, testing and not testing, like 4 different times. It's really not that hard. It's a pain, but it's not that hard. So, yes.
In Outlook, we have our some emails in folders. When the migration happens, where do those go?
The folders will migrate over as labels. So they will show up in your crew.org Google account, all neat and tidy like labels. There are some little things that might happen. Those will be documented too.
Leave them as is and
Leave them as is. They'll move on over. Yes? The archives, we will give you the documentation on how to do those. They're on your hard drive. So basically, if it's on Exchange, well, I won't say that. Anything that we won't move over, we will tell you what you need to do to move it over. Some things are really easy, and some things are quite difficult, and we will give you documentation and help on. I really can't imagine that there's a scenario that hasn't already been asked over the past couple of months, and we've got it prepared to show you how to do it. Yes?
should we be moving our archive items in Outlook down to the normal?
If you want them to migrate over, the technical answer would be no. They've already started doing work to your account, and so major changes that you make will kind of create some technical back-end problems. So technically, yes, but our tech guys would probably have my head if I said that. The question was, I'm so sorry for all the people online that I haven't been repeating the question. The question was, should we go ahead and move all of our archives back in? so that they'll be migrated automatically. It's not a hard process to migrate archives if you are on a PC. So, just saying. Yeah, we need to end, so if you have more questions, please feel free to email them to us. Felicia has literally been training for 3 days straight. She tells us that we can't train more than 3 90-minute sessions a day, so please, please give her a huge hand. Thank you so much. You've been awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Keep watching your emails and add Go Google to your address book, and you will know all you need to know when you need to know it. Thanks.